Their story goes Muhammad spoke to an angel. In other words, Muhammad never spoke to the statue called Allah, for statues cannot speak. When in fact the real God is supposed to become king. So ask yourself, when was Allah crowned king? The real God is supposed to become king and hide his face from a wicked generation. So nowadays people think that the real God is dead due to what happened in Ethiopia in 1974, when his own people went against him. For his own son, called Selassie, tried to use the Derg to overthrow his own father so he could become king. But God says he's going to make a covenant with David, the son of Jesse. In other words, he's going to make a covenant with Solomon, in which Solomon will become king towards the latter times, because that's where Sheeba is supposed to be, with Solomon in the latter times. And that's why Ethiopia is called a Solomonic dynasty. So let's watch what they have to say about the king and how he's still alive, despite their lies.
Okay, they saying the Derg killed him in 1975, August 27. So the question is, if the Derg killed him August 27, 1975, why didn't the Derg show the world his body? Why didn't his enemies show the world, hey, we killed his majesty? Where did they put his body? They say the Derg put his body on the toilet. For what? Why? Why did his enemies hide his body away from the world? Why didn't the world even question, where is his body? And this is 19 years later. They claiming that the Derg say they kill his majesty and put his body on the toilet. For this is 19 years later.
They also had a funeral in which they put someone that was 5 centimeters taller than His Majesty, who wore a larger foot size, in a grave, claiming that that's the king dead in a grave, when in fact it's somebody else.
This is what they claim it, and say the servant found His Majesty body dead. If the servant of His Majesty found his body dead, the servant didn't tell none of His Majesty family, none of his captains, no one that belonged to them now, that hey, His Majesty in there dead, and all of a sudden the Majesty body disappear. They don't know where it is. And then the Derg, they say the Derg, 19 years later, claiming that they killed His Majesty and put him in the toilet. And that don't even make no sense, because why would they kill His Majesty and then hide him and not prove to the world? That don't even make sense.
It don't make sense at all, because God is an ever-living God who goes by the name of Israel. So according to the covenant made with David, the son of Jesse, from the priesthood from forever. So glory may endure forever. So who is David, the son of Jesse? Solomon. Remember, Psalm 72 is a psalm of Solomon, and Solomon is the king's son. In other words, he's the son of the root of David, King David himself, who's supposed to be here in the latter times. So when the prayers of Solomon end, this ends the prayers of David, the son of Jesse. In other words, Solomon is just another name for David. Why? Because King David named his favorite son Solomon after himself. And it's Solomon who shall judge the poor, not Jesus. Because why? Because Jesus is the son of Nav, also known as the son of Nun, also known as the son of Solomon. And he is the successor of Moses. Why? Because Moses is Solomon. Moses made the Ark of the Covenant. And guess who made the Ark of the Covenant? Solomon. So the holy ark of the Lord in the house that King Solomon, the son of David, had built. In other words, Solomon is Moses, despite all their lies. And who is supposed to be here with Moses? Jesus. So Jesus is a successor of Moses. Why? Because Jesus is just another name for Joshua, Yeshua, and Jeshua. And it was Moses who named him Jesus. So Jesus, the son of Moses, the successor of Moses, because Nav is just another name for Moses, is supposed to be here with the mighty one of Israel. So he fought in the sight of the Lord, and he followed the mighty one in the time of Moses. Also he did a work of mercy. So as you can see, the mighty one of Israel is together with Moses, also known as Elijah and Moses. Mighty one is Elijah, also known as Jah. And he's together with Jesus. So it's Jesus, Moses, and the mighty one together. And who is Jesus? Jesus fulfills the law, fulfills the word by becoming a priest. So Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. He was not made a Lord. While Phoenice, which is just one of God's many names, has an everlasting priesthood, because that's God himself. While Joseph, the son of Phoenice, or the son of Jacob, was made Lord of Egypt. That's why Jesus said the Lord already told my Lord to sit at his right hand. In other words, God himself, Phoenice, told Joseph to sit at his right hand, or it will be Moses is Joseph. So God, Messiah, is Joseph, who goes by the name of Moses. And they're going to be here in the latter times. So after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, and shalt come into the land against the mountains of Israel. And there you will find Sheeba. So Sheeba is supposed to be here in the latter years. In other words, in the years of Revelation. That's why Sheeba is here now. She didn't die thousands of years ago. It just got people out here lying. So let's watch. Watch the truth.
This is a land of myth and legend. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Inside, vivid wall paintings tell the story of Ethiopia's spectacular heritage. Christianity was declared a state religion here in the 4th century.
This isn't a religion that was imposed on Ethiopia. This is homegrown Christianity, long before it was the religion of the Roman Empire.
Don't forget, Ethiopia has the oldest, most complete Bible on earth. So common sense will tell you they're the ones who originated the Bible and Christianity. That's why they have the most books.
It was a religion here in Ethiopia. Ethiopia was the first Christian kingdom in the world.
Hello, but yet still the Hebrew Israelites don't even know that. But they're claiming everything to be black, when in fact it got some white people who know more about Ethiopia than them. So what does it say about the king? Thou art my king, O God. Command deliverance for Jacob. In other words, Jacob is God and Jacob is king. You're looking at him right here. For Jacob is called the root of David. And Haile Selassie is literally the root of David, also known as the root of Jesse. While Allah is this. Archaeologists find a statue of Allah that matches the description of the Quran and Hadith. The Muslim God has 2 hands, both are right hand. 1 shin, 2 feet. Hello. That don't look like it could talk or it could become a king, much less be in a palace as a real God. So great is the Lord and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north. The city of the great king. God is known in her palaces for a refuge. For lo, the kings were assembled, they passed together, they saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. So as you could clearly see, the city of the great king, who is known in her palaces. In other words, God is a living God. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, God himself. So let's see what it says.
In
those days I saw the Ancient of Days when he seated himself upon the throne of his glory, and the books of the living were opened before him. And all his hosts which is in heaven above and his counselors stood before him. In other words, God is a living God. He's not no made up God. And he's called the elect of God, the elect of himself. So as you can see, there's no inscriptions found of Sheeba. Is there any evidence of Queen Sheeba? There are none. No trace of the Queen of Sheba has ever been discovered. In other words, they want to believe she died thousands of years ago when in fact she's supposed to be here in the end of times. So there's no evidence of Moses' death. All available evidence suggests Moses is a mythical figure. No modern attempt to identify a historical Egyptian Moses has been found. No evidence of Solomon, because don't forget, Solomon is Moses. So there's no direct textual or archaeological evidence of Solomon has been discovered. Why is there no evidence of Solomon Temple? Why? Because it's supposed to be built at the end of time. So due to the extreme religious and political sensitivity of the site, no recent archaeological excavations have been conducted. So there's no evidence of Solomon's temple. Don't forget, Moses is Solomon, and Moses was told to build a temple also. So there are no archaeological evidence that the biblical story of Moses ever existed. There's no explicit evidence in the Bible on the construction of the temple. In other words, there's no evidence of Queen Sheeba and Solomon's son. So there's no evidence of Melanick in the Bible, and there's no evidence of King Solomon's son Menelik in the Quran. Why? Because it was just a made-up story. It's called folklore, and that was done to change the beginning. So follow God, not man.